Good morning, everyone. I may... Oh, do I need another clicker? Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
First of all, a spoiler. There is no Lambo waiting here. You're guaranteed not to get rich with Encointer. And that's actually the whole point. Encointer is a common good. It is here for all of us, for all human beings. And that's also why Encointer was granted a common good parachain slot on Kusama. A common good parachain slot means that Encointer didn't have to apply to go through an auction to get a slot. We had to argue why we are a common good, and the Kusama community, through its governance system, has decided, yes, Encointer should have a shot at it. So until at least January 23, we will be a common good parachain on Kusama. And maybe one word to Kusama as well. I would say Kusama is actually our preference to be on. And maybe you will get it through my talk why that is. It's a very, very agile ecosystem, and that comes very handy for a project like ours. Okay, I have the right clicker. So what are we looking at economically in the world? We have 1.7 billion people who don't have a bank account. So if you don't have a bank account, you're lacking a lot of financial services. And 1.7 billion is actually 30% of the adult population of the world. And moreover, we have... So, unfortunately, this clicker doesn't have the new Light Client browser extension. So, okay. We have over 1 billion people who don't have a state-issued ID. Now, try to get into the Polkadot ecosystem without a state-issued ID. You need to go through KYC processes to get on an exchange. Or even, you can imagine, a lot of online services are just not accessible if you don't have a state-issued ID. And economically speaking, we have an issue if there is not enough liquidity in a neighborhood or in a city, in a town, that there is a lot of potential which just cannot be leveraged because of the lack of this liquidity. So what could we do to empower people? A lot of us in our ecosystem think, hey, crypto is the thing, you know? We will solve that problem with crypto. But do we really? What we show you here is the income distribution worldwide, and it's the per capita daily income. So you see that 90% earn less than $100 per day. And what you see here are Ethereum transfers in 2021. So the 10 and 90% percentiles, and we are looking at up to $20, which are pretty likely what you have to pay to transact Ethereum, the Ether token. If it is an ERC20 token, even worse. So we have 60 to 80% that earn less per day than a single transaction. That is just not inclusive. So Encointer aims to include everyone. There are limitations, obviously, because what we use is, we say if 30% of humans don't have a bank account, we know that in the order above 90% have a mobile phone. And probably pretty soon all of them will also have internet access. And we want to leverage that to give everyone access to to our ecosystem. And we do that with a very different approach than cryptocurrencies work today. We say, go out and create a local community currency where you live. So all you need is this app and the Kusama parachain that we're running, and you can create your own local currency. And local currency is something, this hasn't been seen in the crypto world so far, and we are presenting it now. So why should that be good for your community? We have local currency for local needs, meaning if we have macroeconomic events, then all communities suffer. So if it can be completely unrelated to whatever happens in your community, you might just not have liquidity anymore. And local currency is actually just exposed to local events, which can also be dangerous, drought or any whatever natural catastrophe where you live. But if you complement that with all the other options that you have, you get really something which helps in case of macroeconomic shifts. We also get the value flowing, and that's now why you're guaranteed not to get rich with these currencies. They are just not attractive as a speculative target because they are programmed such that they lose value over time. We call this demurrage. It's actually a historic concept from Silvio Gesell a long time back. The idea is really you have 10 tokens, whatever, and you have an exponential decay over time. Currently, it's 1.3% per week that you lose. So you have an incentive to spend it as quickly as possible. And that is what benefits the local economy. Because you have to spend it, and because it's a local community currency, you can only spend it locally, so you are promoting the local economy. Now, the next thing we want to provide is a unique digital identity. So irrespective of if you have a state-issued ID or not, you will get a tool such that you can prove that you are unique, that you are not doing a cyber attack on some online service. Now, how should we do that? Why, if we say we give you a unique ID, how can we make sure that you're unique if there is no state-issued ID and we're completely decentralized? We leverage the fact that one person can only be in one point at one time. So you might already guess, this is a bit involved. That means you have to physically appear at a certain place where you live in your neighborhood, where the local currency resides, at a certain time. And then you attest other people. So you meet in groups of around 10 people, which are randomly assigned in random locations, which are publicly accessible. And then it's just like a PGP's key signing party, more or less. You scan each other's QR code on the mobile phone. Everyone attests that the others were there at the right time, at the right place. And you can prove that you only exist once with your account, right? That you cannot maintain several accounts in your name. And why would that be interesting? It's not only for ID, not only for the unique ID. You also get a community-issued income, which is best understood as a universal basic income, actually, but it's not an existential amount currently. But the idea is really, if you can prove that you are unique, we can give you currency. So instead of some kind of a pre-mine or of a central bank issuing money in forms of credit, which mostly benefits the ones on top of the pyramid, we can actually issue money from the bottom up. And that's what we do. So if you can prove that you are human and that you collect your UBI only once, then you get your local currency as a basic income. Now, that is a good thing for the communities. Why is this so attractive for Web3? Why have we been granted a common good parachain? It's not only philanthropy, it's really Encointer solves one of the very hard problems in a decentralized system, and that's the cyber defense. How can we ensure this uniqueness? And we can provide that as a service. We are a parachain. Already 2 years back, we have demonstrated that we can use our unique ID, proof of personhood, on another parachain through XCM. And this could be handy for different reasons. It can be, for example, for running faucets. So a different chain can just airdrop tokens and be sure that it's not collected by cyber armies. But even a lot more ambitious is the democracy. We are used to blockchains' governance be based on coin voting or on purely economic capitalistic rationale. But there are a few things where we would actually prefer to have a democratic vote about. I mean, we are here and we voted for the talks that you see here, and I'm sure the Decoded team has made sure, as well as it's technically possible, that people don't just vote many times with bots and so on to the amount possible, but actually that demonstrates there is a need for democratic votes in our ecosystem. And Encointer could give that. However, you need to have all these local communities, and they can only grow organically, slowly. So until we have a population that really merits this kind of vote, it will take some time. And even more importantly, I think, I initially showed you these $20 transaction fees. We are a parachain which has the KSM as its native token, but you can pay the fees on our parachain with the community currencies. And the amount of the fees is determined relative to the basic income of every community. This means you can start at zero and you will always have purchasing power adjusted fees to use our parachain. So no matter if the Zurich community is worth 1,000 times more than I don't know what little town in sub-Saharan Africa community is worth, both will have the same access to transactions on our parachain. Okay, and now, so I'm happy to present to you that there is actually a first community live, productive in Zurich. It's called the LOI. The LOI is the emblem of the city of Zurich. And let me show a little impression of the first trusted setup. So the trusted setup means each community starts with 10 people who expose themselves as being trustworthy. Our protocol only works if the majority is honest, as many decentralized consensus things work. So the first 10 define the community, define where it takes place, they verify each other, and from then on it can grow by 1/3 of participants each time. And what have we achieved so far? I'm very proud that we made the news in Zurich. So this is not very impressive here in Berlin, but this is the most read newspaper in the city of Zurich. We have issued 2,500 LOI. One LOI is 1 Swiss franc. So that's just, actually, it wouldn't have to be that way, but that's what we suggested. The commercial turnover is already over 1,000 LOI. And that means the money velocity is actually already faster than the money velocity of the Swiss franc. We had 700 transactions since May, and around 80 people who attested their personhood, so who participated at least once in such a ceremony. And in total, we have 152 attendances. So every 10 days, these ceremonies happen, and you can go every 10 days and collect 22 loi. So the basic income is 22 loi. We have 400 accounts. Yeah, you can read yourself. Mobile devices, a lot of downloads. And consider this is only one city, right? And we have 2 permanent acceptance points. That is, and I mean, you see it, it's the smallest number, and it's the most crucial because we have 2 stores. We have a cafe that accepts loi at 1-to-1 to the Swiss franc. So you can really go somewhere in Zurich. You pay with our mobile app, and you go there and drink a coffee. And the other is a grocery store. What do you need to do that? You just download the app, create an account, and you get started. From somewhere you need your first loi as a gift, or you buy it at one of the stores. And this presentation here is in the demo section of Decoded, so we will have a demo. We will, here at Decoded, have 4 ceremonies, and every one of you can participate. So you will just look around, you will find these vouchers. You install the app, you scan that voucher, and then we will have, in Berlin and in Buenos Aires, we will have events, ceremonies outside this building. You will find it on the map. The app will tell you where to go if you register. So about 1 hour before you hit register, we will have one at 1:30 and one at 6:30 p.m. This one we will likely postpone, so just check the time in the app, because that's exactly during Rob's keynote, and we will push that. Then you can check half an hour before the ceremony starts. You should see this. You are registered, or you are assigned. The ceremony location will be shown on a map, and then at the ceremony, you will meet 10 people. You say, we are 10 people, or how many there are. You will scan each other's codes, and you will submit your claims. And 90 minutes after the meetup, you will see this button, which says Claim Pending Income, and you will have your 22 Decoded Berlin tokens, DBL, which you can spend, share around, whatever. But actually what we will do after the conference, we have the digital artist P. Fragile designing a unique NFT just for every person who attested their personhood. And you will be able to claim it on that account that you have on your mobile phone. That was it. I think what's important, if you have the app already installed, make sure it is up to date. We had to tweak a few things for this demo. And if you could do us a favor, and once you scan these, please tear them apart. Because if you got the voucher, it's empty if you read it. Thank you.